Hey, good morning. Welcome to Revive Daily. What a great day. Today's Wednesday, and here at Anchor, we've got an executive retreat today. I'm going to be diving into some really cool stuff this morning. Be sure and say hello and leave comments throughout the morning. I always love to read back over your comments and see prayer requests and just connect with you throughout the day. It's always good to get together with you. If you're first time here, if it's your first time on with us, we did a 21 days of prayer and fasting during January. And every morning, Monday through Friday, I went live on a teaching called Revive Daily and wrote a resource that our church went through. We're going through the book of Joshua. And then there was just a large response of people that wanted to keep on going. And I have the grace for doing it. Like it's energizing for me. It's the best part of my day is when I'm with the Lord, and it's even better to get to go live and teach right after my time with the Lord every morning. So anyway, I pray this is a blessing for you guys. Well, if you got a Bible, open up to Joshua chapter 7, verse 7 through 9. And as you're turning there or just kind of preparing, I'm going to connect this today with what's happening with an announcement yesterday that President Trump made with Benjamin Netanyahu regarding Israel and Gaza. How many of you saw that? Be sure and say hello. And I would say, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 meaning extremely concerning, and 1 being, God's got it, I'm not worried about it. How did the announcement affect you? Some of you may not be in the loop on that, but yesterday President Trump had a meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House and basically announced that the United States is and I have a couple of thoughts on this, and I'll share them with you as we're getting into the teachings. I think it's all related. I'm addressing the issue of emotional intelligence in relationships, and that's been the topic planned for today for a long time. And emotional intelligence is how aware you are, how self-aware you are, your own personal self-regard, your sense of what's called self-actualization, your impulse control, your ability to work through conflict, your sense of social awareness and social impact, and the impact of your decisions on other people, and really just an attention of, okay, what's causing me to feel the way I feel? How do I feel? And what's the appropriate response based on how I feel? So you definitely don't want someone with low emotional IQ representing you, and the reason I'm bringing that up is because Achan had a massive deficiency in emotional intelligence. For him to do what he did and put the entire nation at risk, including himself and his entire family, was a very strong, demonstration of low emotional IQ, low emotional intelligence. And there's obviously ways you can develop that, but if you actually struggle or you have an issue with a low sense of self-awareness, then you probably have a real low sense of God awareness. There's a real low sense of what God is saying to you, and so you'll kind of bulldoze through relationships. You'll treat everything through a wounded filter that you may have had from homelessness or childhood, trauma, or a parents, separating or divorcing, or physical abuse or emotional abuse or abuse in your past. And you've got these filters going on inside of you. And that's a whole other topic, but and I will hit on all that in just a second. But for a whole entire population of people to be under I don't know even what to call Hamas and terrorist organizations that have an absolute hatred for Israel, hatred for God, hatred for all other humanity, and are the true people who truly want genocide. What you're seeing right now is, Trump announced yesterday that, we're going to settle about 1.7 to 1.8 million, people who live in Gaza now, Palestinians. They're welcome to kind of come back, but we're going to settle them in, wherever they want to go. Israel, Egypt, not Israel, but Egypt or Jordan or some of the other, Gulf states, different places in the region that are healthy for them and to assimilate in those places as refugees. And America's going to go in and occupy, this isn't an executive order. He didn't have authority to really do this without a whole lot of agreement and a lot of diplomacy. But we're going to go and occupy that, and we're going to turn it into a very luxurious, special place for all people to live. People who want to live there. Palestinians can come back in there. Jews can live there. People from all countries can live there. Make it a really special place. And so some people oppose that. They call it genocide, and they see that as removing all Palestinians from that area, and it's pretty clear that Trump's goal in that is not genocide at all. It's false. There's no kind of ethnic cleansing happening. It's not an ethnic plan at all. For Trump, it's 100% security. It's securing, building security, having a stable force in that area, strength in that area, and strengthening the economy of that region, and really being a blessing, that piece of land, Gaza being a blessing. So whether that happens or not, there's a strong chance right now that, and this morning I jotted down notes. I keep looking down because I wrote down a lot of notes on this morning, and I'm just kind of processing this. How many of y'all are familiar with this? Good morning, everybody. And be sure and say hello. We're going to jump. We're in the study right now. You may not know it, but we're in the study. And what we're talking about today is that Achan fell. He sinned. Israel goes into a battle, which is a form of genocide in a sense, but it really wasn't. It was God establishing strength in the area, getting rid of false gods because he wanted to be a blessing to the poor, a blessing to nations. He wanted the nations to prosper. He was demonstrating his holiness in the region and calling people to him. And those who repented and wanted to submit to him, like there was a great blessing on them. And ultimately was fulfilled through Jesus Christ, like dying for the entire world. It's the opposite of genocide. Like he came and suffered for all humanity so that all people can become one in him. This is going to carry over. You're going to see this. I'm going to go into 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7, Galatians chapter 3, verse 26 and 27. We're going to look at Isaiah chapter 58, and we're going to look at Amos chapter 2 and those verses. And there's a lot of patterns in Scripture for God really wanting people who are strong, even though we're in a weakened vessel, to be a blessing to people who aren't as strong as we are physically. And so the goal is not dominance or superiority. The goal is service, taking care of the poor, taking care of the widow, taking care of the homeless, taking care of those who have no clothes, no food. And so it's peace through strength, and it's really social justice demonstrated through radical love and sacrificial provision for people. And so I believe that's what the best of hearted people want in the Middle East. But the issue right now is that, Trump could be, right now, he could be in a negotiation tactic. It could be a negotiation move that I'm going to step up here and tell people we're moving in. And that's just to invite, a deeper conversation with basically Saudi Arabia, especially Jordan, Egypt. And those are the main players in that area that would have a strong say or opposition. And then Saudi Arabia's got to really, look at their relationship with China, because China didn't want the United States gaining territory or influence at all. So China is going to want, their negotiation powers at the table to kind of reason. And what's going to be weakened is Russia or China or any kind of negotiation with Hezbollah, Iran, terrorist organizations, in the Gaza Strip. Any kind of terrorist organized state, of leadership being established there. There's going to be opposition to that. And there's a real negotiation started yesterday, man. And if you like Trump or not, man, I mean, some massive moves. Come on, somebody. Massive moves have happened in the last 2 months. I mean, two weeks. The use of tariffs to actually get border security with Canada and Mexico worked. The use of really kind of like real strong leadership, getting sovereignty and control of the Panama Canal. There's power happening right now of getting, some type of protection on the border of Greenland and all those things. And it's because, I don't know if you knew it, but what they're exposing right now with U.S. aid and a lot of these other entities in the government and bureaucracies around the government, like what's happening right now is there's a lot of shaking happening. And the best thing is that Elon Musk is the one getting hammered, not Trump. He's like, it's that brilliant that the wealthiest man on the planet's the one getting hammered and not Trump, And so that there's a lot of really strong moves, and it's not to end democracy. It's not to take away the power of the people. It's to expose how corrupt government over the last several years, called the swamp, has robbed people of money, has used taxpayer dollars to set up, all kinds of, illegal funding through things, and all kinds of shadow accounts and shadow governments everywhere, and a lot of money laundering and a lot of evil. And, people that are coming into leadership right now are exposing all that. And so you're going to see a lot of cries, a lot of injustices, a lot of Hitler-like accusations, a lot of genocide and social cleansing, ethnic cleansing kind of labels come on, and just don't ride those waves. A lot of other, labels are going to come up of, are we heading to the end? Is this World War III? Is this the beginning of World War III? Is this the beginning of Israel building the temple and the end times? I don't know what it is. All I know is I am making disciples and doing business till Jesus comes. Like, that's what I'm white hot about. And as you're walking through all this stuff, it's just important to realize that three things are going to happen. Either the U.S. is going to go in and reestablish Gaza, rebuild Gaza, put golf courses in that area and big nice hotels in the Gaza Strip. My gosh, there's never been something so beautiful in that area if this actually happened. And then allow people to settle in there and establish, land there, or it's going to be a front, and it's going to force a whole lot of better government to come to state, with Palestinians, which really isn't a state, but NATO's either going to get involved, or the UN, or people are going to get involved, but it is really going to stir the pot for the next 2 or 3 years, and a much more stable government and stable way of leadership is going to happen in that area. And I think the negotiations just started. So anyway, you may have not even had thoughts or questions about that, but I thought I'd take 11 minutes to chat about it a little bit. And I do keep up with all that stuff on a regular basis. So let me give you a couple things about this verse, and I'll read the scripture with you in Joshua chapter 7, verse 7 through 9. Hope you guys don't mind me going on that little tangent, but if you're not aware of it, you're going to be aware over the next several days and weeks. And so just pay attention to the Lord and don't ride the waves of the chaos in media. I think it's actually getting weaker. Media didn't have the power it used to have. So Joshua gets up one morning and he says, "Alas, sovereign Lord, why did you ever bring this people across the Jordan River to deliver us into the hands of the Amorites?" And you got to understand, the Amorites were